So I wasn't originally anticipating making another video like this. I wanted to do a few with my more humanoid designs, but after a slightly long work week and being sick with what I have to presume was the flu because it sucked, I was taking a look through all of my files and I was like, wow, because I found my old clan. This originally was a clan that was held on Scratch. Yes, I know some of you know Scratch from the comments of the last video, so you know exactly where this is going. Basically a friend of mine, well, someone I knew at the time, had created this clan with the entire purpose of it being sparklecats who worshipped a vending machine. Which is just a great concept, honestly. It was so much fun back in the day. But looking back at these designs, I did a bad job of making sparklecats. I don't know how I managed that, but I didn't do it. Like, they didn't even have to look realistic, but I didn't do a good job of them. So this is going to be me remaking them, trying to keep them at the same level of holy cow, that is the brightest character I have seen in my life, but making them look a little bit more stomachable and a lot more fun to draw, honestly, because these original designs, I even remember at the time struggling to draw them, just because they didn't make any sense, they didn't flow. So to start off, I had to go through all of the old Scratch files, the ones I will not name for the sake of the people involved, and find all of the original descriptions of my characters. I could only find 2 out of the 3 because I'm pretty sure one of them didn't even exist at this time and I made her later, but here's the original descriptions. So, the first character is Sikana Nose. According to the original screenshot, his name means poor, which I quickly corrected underneath that his name actually means fish. After searching it up, I found that I was actually kind of wrong on all of that. It means any meal served with a side of sake, which is actually delicious. So his gender was male, his rank was a warrior, family none, personality extremely caring but fierce and vengeful, wishes for a son one day, loves all cats and wants an apprentice. His appearance was a turquoise pelt with silver hair swept to one side and an amber eye, long scar across his left thigh, faint star markings across his pelt. Which is just fantastic. But then I found the original reference sheet that I made for him, and just for context, this was made quite a few years after the original designs that I did on my last video, so you'd think the art would have improved a lot. But yeah. So this covers pretty much none of the details that I had in the description for the character. It has the turquoise pelt, it has the star markings, although they are, you know, a lot less faint than they probably should have been. His eyes are purple and blue, his hair is purple. He just kind of looks... yeah, he just kind of looks. There's no way to describe that. The best way to describe how this clan character worked was that he was just a dad. Like, all I remember about him is that he was just kind of your dad, your friendly neighborhood barbecuing guy. And I want to really try and capture that in the new design because I did not capture it in the old ones. If anyone knows anything about me, they will know that I absolutely love like a galaxy star motif. I don't know why, I have always loved drawing stars and galaxies, maybe because it's kind of easy to make them look good, but I tried to really keep that in this design. I ended up looking up a lot of different sort of inspiration for sparkle dogs and sparkle cats of this sort of design, and I kind of took from that a lot. In the end, I made him have quite a round body because he is your dad. That's it. That's all he needs. And then I added a sweater because he is your dad. I'm just gonna have to keep saying that because that summarizes most of my thought process. I wanted him to have a big curly tail to sort of emphasize like a Milky Way galaxy spiral, but at the same time, I wanted to give him a fluffy tail, so he ends up being like an American ringtail cat. His hair was a task. I ended up having to search up quite a few references for Tumblr e-boy here and just kind of keep that sort of silvery purple vibe to it. Trying to find a good color combination between the things I said in the original reference sheet and in the description, and also what I wanted him to now look like, was difficult to say the least, because they were all very sort of clashing. As you can see, I end up changing my hues a lot while I'm working on this, and eventually I work on changing the hair and everything to just an entirely different kind of style. Next up on the list is Mitsukuru Leap, otherwise known as Find Leap. Well, apparently that's what her name translates to. I'm not sure if I was right as a child, but I'm going to stick to it because that's what I thought it meant, and that's how I remember her. Generally, I do refer to her just as Mitzi because it is a lot easier to type, and it boils her character down to pretty much an essence. So this character, she's quite confrontational. She's not the most social, but she is a very good friend when you get close enough to her to be her friend. Essentially, she is a closed book until she is opened. She's very bold, will stand up against you, doesn't like to, but will. Basically, she has a lot of pride and will not let things go. As a character, she was really fun to play, honestly, and I still really like her old design. I like the metal loops along her tail. I feel like they add a good amount of personality. I'm not sure about her giant orange emo fringe, but I kept it in anyway because that is just the kind of design we're going for today, and it's actually really fun to draw. Alongside that, I kept her cloak with the little tassels on the sides, and all of her piercings. There wasn't really a lot I wanted to change with this design, so it was a lot faster to draw than the other ones. I even liked her colours, so I tried to keep those in. I just tried to blend them better and use some more midtones, because going from the sort of peach skin tone orange to the bright pink, it felt a little forced and a little much, so I changed it to this sort of flick pattern. Overall, she was a really fun character. I didn't have to change a lot, but the things I did change I feel really brought out who she is and who she was supposed to be. Although if I were to draw her again, I probably would add some eyeliner. She feels like the kind of person to have cat eyeliner. Well, the kind of cat to have cat eyeliner. With that, I'm just going to let this speed paint play out before we move on to the next character. Last but not least on the list, we have Cheesy Paw. Her name was originally Cheese Paw because in the description of the roleplay it said to make your names as cheesy as possible, and I took that seriously because I was so funny. Like, honestly, that's really funny. So she is, Cheese Paw, female, apprentice, family unknown because I never created families for my characters back then. She's quirky, upbeat, optimistic, reckless and loudmouthed. Golden hair tumbling down her shoulders, strawberry pink fur decorated with purple stars and bows. As you may notice in the speed paint, there are actually a lot of reference sheets up the top for her. I really struggled to get a design for her even back then, and I would never found anything I was particularly happy with, which is why she was one of the main characters I was excited to do for this video. Now, to my knowledge, I only ever had 3 characters belonging to this clan, so this will be the last one. But I'm pretty sure I have some other characters sort of buried in a file somewhere that I could pull out if need be. Overall, because she was a very young apprentice, basically just a kit at this point, I wanted to make her look a lot smaller than everyone else. She once again has the round bod of her dad, because for warrior cats, these guys had a very plush, non-fighting, non-hunting life. They hardly even counted, really. I redrew her eyes a couple of times because I wanted to give her sort of a slightly concerned but also pretty mischievous and innocent kind of look to her. I kept her giant bows and her long tail because most of the characters didn't have things like that. They didn't have those kinds of accessories, and they really felt like they belonged to this particular character that I had created. Then I came in with the yellow, and I really wanted to give more of that cheese look. So she kind of looks like that plastic cheese you get on McDonald's burgers, and I think that's completely okay. With her design, I tried a lot less because the others were very blended. I suppose they looked quite natural in their patterns, just not natural in their colours, but for hers, I just kind of went ham. She's littered with little love hearts, stars, all sorts of tiny blobs, and I even tried to add sort of circles along her legs, as in holes for Swiss cheese. I kept her scarf and her bows, but I did end up darkening the colour a little bit because they blended too much with the tones of the design. But overall, I like how she ended up looking, and I like how they all ended up looking, really. It was a good throwback. And with that, here we have it. These are the main three, well, the only three I remember actually having from that clan. And I'm kind of really happy with how they came out. They look fun, they look chaotic, and that's essentially what the whole Sparkle Cat theme is all about. Special thanks to Tanel Flowers. Their video drawing warrior cats and specifically Sparkle Scourge was kind of the idea for this video, because I had forgotten how much fun it was to just kind of ignore reality, ignore theory, and just draw whatever I wanted with whatever tones that I wanted. Thank you again to everyone who supported the last video. It was so amazing opening my YouTube channel and choking on my drink because I really wasn't expecting that video to get to over 2k views. None of my videos have ever done that well before, and that was just sort of me having fun, messing around with characters and seeing what happened.